All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's call the meeting to order, and let's do one thing first. Let's approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Then that's done. Now, we're gonna skip the agenda as it's written, and we're gonna ask Mark to give us his presentation on Think Big? No.
Think
Big networks.
Think
Think Big Networks, that's it, yes. You
All
got the
right,
floor.
yeah, thank you, everybody, for hosting me this evening. My name is Mark Wagner. I was, myself and my partner, Deanna Sobzak, started Think Big Networks in 2018.
And when?
2018, really 2017, but we got our first customer in 2018 in Kent County, Maryland, Chestertown area. And subsequent to that, we are now in 5 or 6 counties, thousands of customers, and recently, as of January, very recently, we merged with a larger company called IQ Fiber, and they're in now 5 states, and we're the Mid-Atlantic, so we're a wholly owned subsidiary. It didn't change our lives. We still all have the same employees, but what it did do for us was we are engaged with STC Capital, which is one of the largest digital private equity funds in the world, billions of dollars in assets. All they do is build fiber networks and data centers. So that deal came with committed capital for the next 3 years of our pipeline, including hopefully this project. So we're fully funded for the next 3 years. Our mission is to come to communities like Drum Point, where there is only one option for internet. We look for one option, cable. We look for, this is actually kind of perfect, we look for dated cable, like cable plant that was put in years ago, decades ago in the case of this area. And we provide a choice, and we are fiber, we're fully fiber. So you've heard of Fios, everybody knows that's the brand. That is a branded fiber to the home service. We are not Fios, Fios is Verizon, but it's a very similar service. So it's the same network fiber, and it's a similar electronic system that you would have in your house called a GPON. So I put together a presentation that we can just sort of thumb through, but my main goal here is to let you guys know who we are, what we're doing. We've already started in Chesapeake Ranch. We've got about 14 miles of plant built already there. We work with Maggie and the Homeowners Association, and that's pretty quick, you guys, because we only signed that agreement less than 5 months ago. So we're working pretty quickly. Their neighborhood, like this neighborhood, is very conducive to what we do. It's all, I'll skip around a little bit, but I want to show you a picture of the construction. But I want to show you this first. This is what when we are looking for communities where we want to invest our capital, we look at something that looks like this. This is an Ookla speed test. This is a screenshot of an Ookla speed test. Ookla is the largest repository for speed tests in the world, and we buy a data set from them. And this is, in particular, this is what upstream bandwidth looks like when it's really super slow. This is fast, this is slow. So a typical Comcast connection will give you, they'll sell you, I don't know what you guys bought, probably you got some 250 megabit, whatever you got. But that's one way, right? That's just pulling it in. And then, but the ability to broadcast, I heard you guys talking about Teams, for instance, working from home, that type of thing. That's you using the internet the other way, and that's what this looks like when it isn't working very well. So we, on top of everything else, we look for this. This is a heat map that is very promising for us because it's a problem that we can solve. Because everything that we install in fiber optic world is the same speed back and forth, right?
Why is St. Mary's fast?
St. Mary's is fast and getting faster because, Rhea lives down there, and she can tell you that they had breeze line And it was not as dated as this service. It wasn't terrible recline, but Comcast is overbuilding them right now with fiber. So, this is like, if you want to understand how a dated service like this is not as good as a real service, Comcast, Xfinity in your world means fiber, it means what we're doing. Xfinity in your world means a brand, right?
Right.
So they're even telling you that you're a second tier customer.
Yeah.
And they're not going to overbuild. They've made the decision they're not gonna overbuild their current plant, they're gonna overbuild, like we're doing. They're looking for opportunities to overbuild now fiber plants as well with fiber. So, that's why you see better speeds now in St. Mary's, because this has happened, started happening about 2 years ago. And I was telling Rita that we had looked at St. Mary's, it was gonna be our next, and we had a deal signed, and then Comcast sort of kept their investment strategy to themselves until they just launched really big all at once, and we don't do that. Once, we're not gonna compete with another fiber provider because we don't distinguish ourselves. So, back to the construction. So what we do here, we really like our experience in Chesapeake Branch so far and what we do here, because what we do is all buried, and we use a machine like this. It's called a directional bore, and we set that up in the right of way, and it will go down, depending on where the utilities are, anywhere from 3 to 5 feet, and then you can drive the drill. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but you can literally watch these guys, and they will drive a drill 100 yards and pop up in the middle of a pizza box, right? So, and then in that spot, we will put a small junction box, which is where we connect our customers. That's flat to the ground. You can mow over it, you can drive over it. We can even put green lids on them. But we don't have any pedestal stuff, none of that. So all of that is flush to the ground in the right of way. And then from there, if we get a customer, then we would build out of that to the customer home. And we have a separate conversation with the customer about that.
What is this?
So this right here, for your community, we would have one of these. So this is all of the electronics that we need to run our system. This is a huge differentiator between us and cable, because cable is a large antenna, so it's all electric, so they have to have repeaters everywhere. Our system is passive, it's fiber optic cable and lasers. So this is all we need. So we would work with you guys up there, working with Chesapeake Branch. They, like you guys, own a bunch of property, so we found a spot that was convenient for us and convenient for them, and did an easement. And so this is, you can see the size of it, refrigerator it, and then it sits over a vault, and this is where the cables come in and out underground.
So, Drum Point extends on the other side of the state highway, Roswell Road.
That's fine.
So is that,
Yeah, it'll all work. And we work with SHA all the time. We were in the right way everywhere. We have a great agreement with the county. That was the first agreement that we did, is with Calvert County. So depending if it's a county road, you're off roads, or the state, it doesn't matter. It'll all be part of our plan.
Good question.
Yeah.
How many of these would you need?
One.
Just one?
Just one. And this, you can see the signage here. This is what before we construct, we would work with the community. I don't know what's allowed in terms of putting stuff on people's homes, but if it's allowed to put often we like to do a door hanger. The door hanger, in a couple of weeks in advance, just to let people know what's going on. It's got a barcode that they can get to us. We want them to come to us with their questions rather than the board, because you're just gonna come to us anyway, right? So we wanna make sure that we stay in communication together, but we wanna make sure that as we construct, people are understanding what we're doing. If we break anything, if we disturb anything, we wanna fix it. You guys, it's super important to us that we make the best impression possible when we're constructing, because each and every person here is a customer we want, and they already have Comcast, so we have to be on our best behavior. We don't want to make enemies. So I think you will find, and you can talk to your neighbors, that we are extremely accommodating to people's watering systems, plants they like, whatever, right? Just even if it's encroached on the right of way and they're not even supposed to be, we'll work around. right? Because it's just, it's obvious, right, we need to make friends. So that, the first thing that would happen is you would see, we do locates, we call them locates, which utility. That's the, and those markings happen a couple of weeks before we start drilling, so that's really when we would want people to get to know what we're doing. We also, up in Chesapeake Branch, and if we look down here, we do the same thing, is we get together periodically with the community, we invite them in, we feed them, we do open houses, more information sessions, and we'd have our actual construction people there to answer questions, so that we're just answering questions, we're just being very proactive. So what we do is, once it's installed, it's fiber to home internet. We have 3 tiers, we would be doing 3 tiers down here, 250 by 250, which is $65 a month, that's it. We don't have any box fees, we don't have any other hidden fees. We don't have any contracts, but we would contract 250 megabits.
Yeah.
Yeah, up and down. But we guarantee that price for 2 years. So you can quit us, we can't quit you. And then our next tier is $10 more, $75, and that is 500 megs by 500 megs. And then,
$65.
yep, and then $85.
Whatever you 75, you're right,
Yeah.
because that's $10 more.
Yeah, and then the next one's $10 more again, and that's our full gig.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, how much is the?
65, 75, 85.
Oh, 65, okay.
Yeah, 65, 75, 85.
55.
Yeah, 65, 75, 85.
Okay,
And
so 250, 500,
And
and
full
and
gig. Yeah. full
each
gig.
for 2 years? Guaranteed price each
Yep.
for 2 years?
Guaranteed pricing for 2 years. We, no hidden fees, so we make it really simple. We also do phone, if you like, it's voice over IP. We're only gonna do phone if you take our internet. And it's a very, we don't make a ton of money on it. There's a lot of federal fees in it, and it's $20-some a month, and it's all included, including all your long distance. And I think some of them even have Canada and Mexico now as well. So we're happy to do that. If you have a home phone, we'll port your number. So we'll work with you on that. But that's it. Those
these
are,
rates though, these provide internet,
yes.
only internet, no,
Yeah.
any other streaming services or anything are on top of that?
Correct.
That you set up yourself?
Correct. But let's go to that page, because I'm pretty excited about where streaming services are going.
What page are we going?
Second to last page, I think. It says this, it's called My Bundle. Get right, you're on it. Okay, so what we did is, there's an organization called My Bundle TV, we're members, and what that organization has done is it's put a lot of small ISPs together, like ours, and then allowed us to put pricing pressure on the streaming services. So we're able to offer deals that you can't get outside of our universe. So it's kind of turned it on its head. Because you remember back in the day, you'd have 3 choices with Comcast, and the most expensive one, you'd have 292 stations
Right.
because you wanted to watch 20 of them,
Yeah.
right? So it's turning all of that on its head and going to the content people and saying, we now control, our customers are now in the position to control what they want. And we have a lot of customers together, so we can get deals on Disney, we can get deals on, and as we get closer to signing on, you can go on our website, you can go to My Bundle TV, you can literally put in the stations that are important to you, the Orioles, whatever. It'll make the recommendations where you can find those, and then it'll take you to the best deals.
Do you have to have a smart TV to do this? I know, I don't have one. I still have an old TV. Can you do a bundle like this without a smart
No,
TV?
you can convert an old TV to a smart TV, sometimes with a Fire Stick.
I have a Fire Stick.
No, I have a Fire Stick.
Oh,
Yeah, then you're fine.
Okay, it just hadn't broke, it broke, so I fixed it.
Yeah, then you're fine. We'll work with this too.
Okay.
In your home, so that gets to smart, and this, we have a lot of conversations with this, and we probably would do, we have in the past, and we'll continue to do education sessions on this, because it is something to talk to people that have had cable for decades, and ask them to figure out, well, like, what are you really watching on cable? How can we
But you're right,
recreate
you
that
want each of
experience?
these though, I mean, you could.
But if you wanted to do a full cable, it's the most expensive way to stream, but you can get Xfinity through
Yeah.
streaming now, and you can have the exact same remote.
So this
either.
would replace that.
Yeah, so, but the other cool thing about streaming is, it's also no contract. So if you change your mind in a month, change your mind, right? You're not locked into, you're not locked into me, you're not locked into them. If we screw up, you can always go back to Comcast, you know what I mean? It's
But you
just-
can't get network TV, network
you can.
ABC, NBC
Yeah, you
on
can.
there.
Yes,
Is
you
it
can.
there?
Where's that?
Okay, so YouTube TV has local stations, Fubo TV, Hulu TV.
So you'd have to subscribe to each of those separately.
Or one of them, you
You
don't
pick
have
one.
Okay.
you don't have to do each one.
Pick one.
So as long as, well, you have to check out that they're, which ones have.
Yeah, and this is what my bundle helps, this is what will help you with. Our website will say, you know, these are the stations that I like, who has them. It's gonna be either Hulu or YouTube TV. If you're really into sports, Fubo has Massing, the Orioles. YouTube TV has Sunday Ticket, right, and all the NFL games, so.
Do you have a DVR type application?
All of these do have, you know, 30, 40 million hours worth of cloud-based DVR stuff, so that's, but it is over the top, and I don't really make any money doing this, but that's also kind of where the market should be, because I'll create the content, right, I just create the medium to get it to your home. So let me talk to you about, with inside the house, we put, it's fiber, so the fiber goes all the way from this box right here, right, where we get our signal, and then it goes underground, down the side of the street. We'll build one side of the street, we do a single-sided plant, and then we do crossings periodically. And then it's fiber right into your house, and we just go from a bigger fiber bed to down, and then a pair of fiber will run into your home if you're connected to us, which the market actually values. There is a value to have fiber to your home, we're finding. So you'll get that inside the house.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so inside the house, you'll have one of these. This is called an ONT, that's an optical network transmitter. The fiber goes, we will penetrate the wall. Usually it's like right here.
Flipping around this couch,
Okay.
to take a minute till we can follow.
I'm so sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
What page are you on?
I am on, I think, the
Yeah,
last,
number of
second to
stuff.
last page.
Hard to find where you are. Okay.
You found it. I didn't number them, guys, I'm sorry.
It's hard to figure out.
I'm in the third to last page.
So the fiber punches through the wall and then hooks into this, and this basically
Yeah, right there.
wireless to the,
Yeah, so this is an ONT, and you're correct, the fiber will connect to that. This needs to plug in to a wall socket. And then from there, it's Ethernet to this device right here. And this tower is your Wi-Fi. It's called a two-box solution. Why we do that is because this technology is really not gonna change. This technology will. So as radios upgrade, and we're at the highest level possible right now.
So is this the Wi-Fi? or-
Yes, this is the
This is the
Wi-Fi box.
Wi-Fi box.
this is
Right.
basically a
And this
router.
is,
How big is this one?
it's just, it's a little tower. It's a good looking Wi-Fi. I mean, it's fine, and it's very powerful, but at no charge to you, we will do a heat test. And if your home, if you have a dead spot in your home, we're gonna put a repeater there. And we'll do one per home, it's free. Okay, so this is all for, don't charge any more. But between the combination of all that, and then you should have the full use of the gate, whatever level of bandwidth you buy. This is fully capable of shooting a gig. This ONT in your house, although we don't sell it yet, this is 2.4 gigabit capable. So down the road, you know, maybe we get to holographic gaming or something, I don't know. I will just, you know, we don't need to upgrade. We'll just have different tiers.
What did the T stand for?
ONT, optical network transmitter.
Transparent.
Yeah. But yeah, so you'll have 2.5 gig capacity to every home for your customer, which is pretty good, right? A future person proves the home. And the whole network will be 10 gig capable. So if we, and then down the road, if we need, I would just ship in one of these with 5 gig capability, 10 gig, right? So we don't, the point is, it's future proof. The only thing we're ever gonna change is equipment. So, what I'm asking of the board is I sent a sample agreement to based on what we did up the road. It's a right-of-way agreement, and it gives us the permission to work in your right-of-way. You guys need to look it over and make sure that it's a draft. I assume that you're gonna have pushback. One of the things I would suggest you add is that, because they did, is that we put internet and maybe even phone here in this, because I heard you guys having that conversation about.
Can I do like 3 lines and have a rollover phone and all that?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Like, I think that throwing in something like that for your trouble is often what people ask.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't feel guilty about doing that. As a matter of fact, we'd love to help solve this issue so that you can have your Teams meetings. Our system integrates with Microsoft and Teams or Zoom. We can work with you on either, but I agree, I think Teams is that's what we use. And for your purposes, it's an easy app. Any computer will find it, because it's Microsoft, it's everywhere. So just enhancing your ability to use the internet here. I don't know if the beach club needs it as well, but
Well, that's a
What
separate.
about if you have Apple equipment?
yeah.
So
that's-
does that work with
Yes,
Teams?
it will. Apple works with Teams very well.
Okay.
And if you have routing equipment in I feel like maybe you're pretty technical, like if you have your own router or whatever, it'll work with that too. You don't have to use our routers if you don't want to.
But this comes with the service.
It comes with the service, so if you want to use it, you can. And there's Ethernet plugs in it as
You're
well.
not paying a rental fee like
No.
Comcast.
No, there's no reason to say no to it. I mean,
One nit, just real, because you
Yeah.
mentioned the beach club. One nitnoy on your agreement. Change Drum Point to Drum Point Property Owners Association.
yeah, so yeah, I didn't really know how
It's
you
Drum
would.
Point Project, that's different. When we were
Well, that-
talking about the membership.
Yeah, because Drum
So
Point
you want
is a
to
community,
differentiate.
and so that gets confused with everybody around here that's not part of our HOA. And then DPPOA, which is the Property Owners Association, that's the HOA. Drum Point Project or Drum Point Club, that's another entity that's adjacent to the community. So that would have, and they're basically just a clubhouse function, or it's not a community.
Right, okay. So separate conversation. We would build everywhere in Drum Point, there wouldn't be a road that we wouldn't do. Everybody would have the option to have us, we're not gonna come here to just do something with it, we would do all of it. We're doing all of Chesapeake Branch, which is how many miles?
60.
Yeah, you guys have what, 15 miles?
15.
Yeah, so we do all of it.
So when this hypothetical, if you okay something like that, you have one of us that lives over on that side of Rousby Hall, and we have one of us over on this side of Rousby Hall. How many people do you need to have signed up, and is it possible to do that?
Yeah.
Or do we just go street by street by street?
This is a really good question. So how we would phase this, we phase the construction, and we would probably start, it would be based on where we have an agreement for that equipment, because we like to, that's our first phase, because we like to light as we go, meaning we like to have customers as we build. So it is kind of street by street, but in a good way, because, as we build, we light. So we don't have to build the whole thing before we turn on our first customer. For instance, we'll turn on our first customer down there probably the next month. And if we do this, depending on how fast we move this, we'll get started this year. We'll make good progress in your all's community this year. Because it's a perfect time, right? Because I have 5 girls down there, so we would just continue to. It's an obvious.
So it would entail like a plan.
Yeah.
So that we might say that we will do Mason's Cove, and then we might do Lakeview, street by street. Is that how it's done, rather than?
Yeah, you would radiate out.
Or do they have to be contiguous streets though?
Eventually they do, because, yeah, obviously, you can imagine, what's the analogy? A hose, you're stringing lights for Christmas or whatever, right? Yeah, everything has to go back to its source at some point. But sometimes we do build and then we call splicing and then we can add.
Okay.
But I assume once the siting is decided for the central equipment, then you're basically gonna construct a plan on how that radiates out,
Yeah,
and a timeline on it.
we do. We have a plan for this, but doesn't include that. So the plan is the phasing will adjust to where that goes. We have a plan for how we're gonna build all of it. We've got a budget, we've got all of that, everything's kind of waiting on that.
Speaking of budgets, this
Yeah.
does not impact our budget at all.
It doesn't cost anybody anything, and it doesn't cost anybody to install, it's all.
Is it a certain level of risk for you because there's, I think, we don't know how many, let's say we bless it, say, let's go, we have no clue how many people are gonna sign up.
Yeah, it's all on us.
It's all on you.
Yeah, if people don't sign up, they're gonna sign up. We're gonna build it. And if it takes, like typically how this goes, and we've done enough of them now, another good question, is year one, we're gonna get about 18 to 20% of the customers. And these are folks like you know the value of what we're doing. So early adopters, right? Thank God. I use the internet, I need the internet. And then year two-ish, between 2 and 3, we'll get 40%, and that's our ROI. So anything past that, and we will get past that, we're good. So it takes a few years,
Yeah.
Right.
And then in past experience, you're basing kind of these percentages on past experience.
Yes, communities very much like this, demographics very much like this, an aging cable plant very much like this. Yeah,
So it's an education hurdle for a while,
right.
until you uneducate people about, you have to have cable, or you have to have dish network, or you have to have this, or you have to have that, and show them the advantages of fiber.
Right.
And advantages and cost. The cost benefit to them is positive.
Yeah, and that's on us. So we love to work with the community. We will do, we'll sponsor events, whatever's important to you, that are community-wide. We want our name associated in it. We have a marketing buddy that's very aggressive for that. We talked about renting the beach club. We can figure out, a member sponsoring that. We would do that. We would feed people. We do wine and cheese. We do whatever, we like to attract people to have the education conversation. But at the end of the day, everybody gets a choice. And if you want to be a cable is a fine product. And if you are happy with your cable situation, but what will happen, I was telling Maria, and I can tell you in every situation, you will have a much better cable partner because they will want to keep customers. And suddenly you're going to start to hear from them. You're going to get price, pricing's going to go down because that's the easiest thing for them to do. They're going to do what they can with this aging plant everything will just get better because of competition, right? They don't want to lose their customers. So they're going to fight for their customers, so it's all benefits the community. Right, but even with all of that, I'm still going to get 20 to 40, it'll work out.
It takes a while.
It takes a while.
So the fees again, just the 65, 75, 85, that includes taxes, everything?
Yeah, so fortunately, they almost got us this year, but no taxes on the internet yet. So maybe we're trying. So that's it, free and clear.
Do you have
The
an
county's
idea?
completely on board
Yeah.
with this
Yes.
from a utility standpoint.
Yes,
They've
sir.
already approved.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Spoke with somebody, and I can't recall her name. but she-
Ashley, probably. But yes, the county they were super excited. Because you guys, this is very rare. In all of Maryland, there is not a county that has less fiber than Calvert County. Aside from a little bit up north, a very little bit, it is only cable,
Right.
which is ridiculous. So they've been looking for years to get it. Because we're gonna spend millions of dollars. It's the biggest construction project in Calvert County for a while. And we started Chesapeake Branch. I just was up in Chesapeake City, meeting with their town council, having a similar discussion. We're gonna do that too. So kind of working north and south, and then we'll, construct it. But we'd love for this to be the next spot, like right away. This would be perfect. So next steps would be often the board approves the administrator to have the more detailed conversation and then report back,
Right,
right? And then I assume there's an attorney in the mix somewhere,
there's a one.
an attorney in the mix somewhere.
That's what you had mentioned today.
Probably.
Perhaps we would want the attorney to look at it.
From approval,
Uh-huh.
from our end, what's the essentially the starting timeline for you guys?
So now, this is an important time, spot, because from here, I'm gonna wait here, right? Because if the consensus is, yes, please work with, think big to get to this agreement where, where it's signable, then we're gonna work together, as quickly as we can push that. And then you guys will do what you do, and then if you bless it, then we're gonna get started right away. So I don't know if that's, however, I don't know that timing, but once we get approval, we would be talking to you guys within weeks.
But a hypothetical, if say all of us,
This
the
summer.
world, how long would it take you, assuming everybody would sign up to?
To do, we go 1 point a year, maybe even a little less, just because it's so kind, the soil here is good, it's not rock. You don't have sidewalks, right?
That's an advantage for,
No,
that's a first advantage I've heard.
Yeah.
I think it came up earlier, but, the fact that we have property on both sides of the state road,
Right.
does that cause any issues for, is the state okay with the button underneath the roads and?
Yeah, we pull those crossing purposes, that's all the time. SHA is, they're sticklers, they need CAD drawing, we're very good at it, but but we submit a packet to those SHA every week, and they
You get a
usually get
permit
back.
number? Do they provide you with a permit number for the SHA? How do you get that, sir? I'll never get it.
I can help you if you're having issues.
I would like a phone number. Anyway.
But, so I feel like maybe, I don't want to impose too much on your, you've got a big agenda here, but,
One question on one chart.
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. When you were working at the ranch club next door, did anything happen, you break anything, something unexpected?
No, not yet. Okay, so yes, twice we have, cut Comcast cables that they didn't mark. But Comcast has long ago allowed us to fix them, so our guys, it's easy to put together, your cable plant's easy, right? So what you do is fix it, right? If somebody comes like, hey, my internet's down, and then, we just
Killer
fix it.
backhoe,
Yeah. So that's, we call it cable finder.
the red and blue.
Yeah. So that was just kind of an example of phasing for the whole, both communities.
Okay.
I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. I think I should do a better slide. And I will. You don't need the slide. When we decide on the thing, then I will definitely circulate our idea for phasing and how we would phase this in. And we can have a conversation probably through later about, community engagement, that kind of thing. Right?
Do you have any, all these questions are popping up,
Yeah.
I know we need to move along,
I-
but, history, history doesn't predict stop, it's homework, but history does tell us something about neighborhoods and where we've, had successes and we've had difficulties. Do you have an example of a neighborhood somewhere else in the state that has done this?
Yes.
That you could, maybe not share tonight, but could share at some point,
I would.
their experience?
I would. Do you guys know Bully Rock? That's a gated community, kind of posh, but still kind of cool. It's up in Howard Grace. We're doing all of Howard Grace, and that's
Yeah, you're in Chestertown, also.
yeah. But I think so. On sort of the high end of the most sort of persnickety, difficult sort of environment to work in, they do have sidewalks, they do have landscape, and we Bully Rock. So I can put you in touch with Chris, who's their general manager, and then there's kind of a lot. bunch or, but
You
yes.
go into your head, it's kind of a
Yeah, but as
random
as you're doing
question.
your due diligence, yes, I could do that for sure. I would love for you to be able to have a conversation with friends, for instance, and because they have like a landscaping committee,
Yeah.
committee there. I mean, it was,
What's wrong with that?
yeah, it was it was a lot. But they're also lovely people, right? And they, it's just different flavors, right? So I would say that was the most challenging we've had. And then, but most have been very, kind of very easy, just because we're not trenching instructional. It's really a whole lot less moving earth than people think, right? So,
You're probably aware that Smecco is in the process of burying power here.
very, very aware, because
Is that causing any issues, or
no, it's fine.
God knows where they are in their progress?
No, Smecco's fine. We have a really good relationship with Smecco. We did a lot of work in Calvert and Charles County, on using some Smecco poles, and I've actually put some of that equipment in Smecco yards. They're a co-op, and they're very responsive, we found, versus like a BG&E or whatever. So if you ask me which power company I'd rather work with, it's Smecco.
Well, I'm not concerned too much about the company. Their company's good. It's just the physical conflict with them laying cables, burying cables, and you burying cables.
Where are they in that process here? Have they started?
Yeah, but we don't know,
So you don't get updates.
it's hard to tell where they're at. I mean,
And
they
they're
have,
leaving the lines up.
they basically have laid, and it's not throughout the whole thing. They're working in areas, but they have basically buried, like, over in, they're over in the area right across the road from here, area called Leeson Cove. And they're in there, they buried all of
Are they
the,
trenching?
no,
The
they
directional
bore,
Yeah.
but they buried it all, and they've got the ground equipment in, the transformers and stuff. But they don't seem to have hooked up very much of it. You know, the cables are still laying there above ground,
Right.
waiting, so I don't know where they're at in that process.
So
But
this
they're,
is,
but I think they're, at least in that area, I think they're pretty much buried.
right. So this is good intelligence. Because it could be, if we're doing the same thing, that we could maybe do some conduit together,
That would be sensible.
right? And just do it once. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So I think we'll, as we have this discussion in parallel, I think I'll reach out to Smecco and see
Yeah.
what they're thinking, and let them know that, I don't know if their ambitions are as big as ours, but wherever they are doing burying, you could do it once.
Well, they seem to have a big plan about burying as much as they can.
Well, that's good for you guys. Get as much down from,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Especially with storms.
Right, right.
But they're leaving the poles up, so it's all
They're
right.
already in the poles, huh?
Why?
Well, there's,
You-
Well, the
lots of
problem
lines
with
are there. and
The poles are not gonna come down until
Comcast.
Comcast and Verizon.
Oh,
is
okay, okay,
it's
okay.
base of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, Comcast and Verizon would be very upset.
Unless they,
Oh,
unless they do like they did with the island and they decide to bury.
But they could have done that in conjunction.
They could
And
have, they
did
could do a
not.
lot of things that they don't.
Yeah. So a quick question also, and this is for my own concern. Each property owner is responsible to contact your company and say, hey, I want this in my house. They don't call me and I call you. That's what I thought, just thought I'd
I
check.
didn't want to read
And
it.
most of them reach us over our website.
Okay.
Most of our customers are alerted that they search their address
Mhm.
and it says yes.
Yes, yeah.
And then they just sign up.
Do you find, let's say, down on my street where there's 8 houses, I say, I want it, because I hate
Wow.
Comcast. But, aside from that all of a sudden other neighbors come around,
Yes.
and all of a sudden you have the whole block, and the whole block. It's just
Yes.
kind
Yeah,
of a
it's
domino
really,
effect.
it's so good when you get the right person at the street. It's just the person that people talk to, which I think,
Right.
yeah, that
Mhm.
can become a really good advocate for us.
Okay.
But yes, I appreciate that that you understand that, yes, getting customers is really important.
Oh, yeah.
You don't wanna
Yeah.
not get them, so we circle all the way back where I started. Which means we gotta be friends, we gotta be friends with everybody, we have to be a very kind experience, so help us to do that.
You know, this is gonna sound silly, but we have an awful lot of people in the community that are not well off. And a basic question that they're gonna have is, how does it cost what's the comparison between keeping cable and switching to this?
So,
They're gonna wanna know.
two answers to that. First answer is, if there are folks that are qualifying for the school lunch program, like the free reduced lunch program, then we have a program as well. It's called Lifeline. It's not the greatest, but it is a low-cost option.
Basically.
It's a subsidy. So there's that. And then if they don't qualify for that, but they're just very budget conscious, then, $65 is the best we can do right now. It's likely that we'll have a lower tier as we go. We don't have it yet. Comcast might force us into it because I think what you'll find is that suddenly you're gonna have a $49 option from Comcast.
I think you're gonna have, depends on what TV stations you wanna watch
Right.
now. And with your bundle,
Right.
whether you can achieve a lower cost for the things you wanna watch on TV.
Yeah. I don't know, have you played around with like what you can get over the air with the HD antenna? Have you done any of that in this neighborhood?
No, I didn't bother because originally when we moved down here, you could not get any over-the-air coverage at all. I mean, if you were lucky and the atmosphere was right, you might pick up
That's
Salisbury or something across the bay, but you can't get the DC stations or anything.
Okay. So,
Now, that may have all changed now with a lot of the HD stuff and.
yeah, we might, because legally, local stations are still having to broadcast.
Mhm.
And but sometimes it's not as strong, but when you can get it, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, the HD quality is really.
yeah, and you may be able to do it, I just haven't investigated it.
Yeah, so,
Now, one thing I know, in my personal case, I would gladly give up Xfinity cable and Xfinity internet. But, they've got me a little bit because they have a very good cell service. And up until, originally, you had to have a part of the other package in order to qualify for Comcast Mobile.
right.
I don't know where that's gonna go, but I would hate to lose that.
Yeah, so I don't know, I mean, you're right, so Comcast has found that is sticky with their customers. So, they resell, I feel like they resell Verizon, right? Isn't it the Verizon network that they resell?
Yeah, it rides on Verizon, yeah.
Yeah. So it's good, I mean, I don't know where that's gonna go either, because as we speak, it took them a long time to separate Xfinity from Comcast, the content from everything,
Right.
else. So they're kinda going in the streaming model as well. So, I don't know. I don't do that. We looked into it and there's no money in it, and
No, I wouldn't.
it's getting less and less.
No,
So we try to keep simple.
and there's other options, I mean, if we have to, we can investigate T-Mobile or
And
something.
you're gonna invest in T-Mobile,
We
you're gonna.
discussed it with Verizon cell and cost and performance, and so
Yeah,
Comcast works well.
right. So we're all heading into, maybe more challenging economic times, right? So I think people will be very budget conscious, so I have a feeling that's gonna be, I wouldn't be surprised if, SNIQ work on helping customers with that, So,
the subsidy.
yeah, and maybe even a lower tier. But, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But we haven't been in business during a recession, so. So we'll see, right? So you guys have been amazing, thank you, for your time and putting me in front of your agenda. And I'll be looking forward to our next conversation, maybe you're gonna let me know how it all
Oh,
goes.
yeah, absolutely.
Love coming down here, so if you need to see us again, I'm more than happy to do it. We're doing a lot of work right down there. We have an office, we actually rented, because they've got pretty, it's kind of dated, but their facility there's pretty big. And so
In CRE?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so we rented an office, which anybody can use, like your
Right.
community come there as well.
Right.
So we wanted to have a local presence, there's thousands of folks down here,
Mhm.
right? So we wanted
Right.
people to be able
Makes
to
sense.
come talk to a human being.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm. Makes
It's
sense.
going back to the idea of what's the CRE is probably a good model for us, demographic wise.
Right.
Maybe a little bit lower, but I'd say
It's been amazing. It's been
if
amazing.
they're signing up, then I would say we won't have too much of a problem.
It's been amazing. It's all pre-signups right now, but we have had a ton. There's actually more activity in Chesapeake Ranch than in anything that we've been in a while.
Mm,
They're very thirsty for
Yeah,
the alternative.
interesting.
So, yeah, I think it bodes well. Good. It was really nice. talking to you.
Thank you.
I love your community. I think it's really special. And, you know, the different style of homes, the
Yeah, it's
amazing amount of
pretty.
waterfront.
Eclectic.
Eclectic.
Yeah.
Depends where you're.
And then, you know, the history, it's all awesome still. Just let us know. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Safe travels home.
Thank you.
All right, folks. I'm gonna skip President's remarks, let's just move right along. Except I guess one remark is, we do wanna get a lawyer, or our lawyer, to look at this contract. See, but if anybody has
Say
any,
how much it's gonna cost.
yeah, and if anybody has a comment on the contract, you know, let's get our comments in before we send it to the lawyer.
And I would just wanna say, I think if we don't do it, we'll have a lot of complaints from the community when they hear that CRE is doing it.
Yeah.
Because fiber optic is, you know, the way of the future, so to speak.
I really don't see any downside.
I don't remember.
It seemed to be super
Well, there
responsive.
may not be a savings depending on how you use it, because I read one comment on the net about, I think in Chestertown, one of the people that were using it there, said if you're a streamer, by all means, but if you use a lot of different TV applications, you really won't achieve the savings.
It's an option.
Sure, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's your-
But
it's
yeah,
just a matter-
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking one thing, but your point is that we would put it on the network itself
Right.
and throughout the whole neighborhood, but then they really want a lot of subscribers, so a person's gonna subscribe depending on that, I would think.
But I think eventually,
Eventually,
as you
probably
said, first year,
everybody, yeah,
the
I can see where over
wives
time.
and others, you're irritated with Comcast, whatever, and then the next year others will follow.
Sure,
And so I like that they're prepared for that.
yeah.
They're
And
not
maybe
expecting 100%.
They'll improve some of their options
Yeah.
too.
Okay, so I'll wait for anybody to hit me up with comments on the contract before I send this to Amber.
Mm.
Okay,
Uh,
Good.
Is this, and maybe this is part of the question for her, is this gonna require, full membership approval? Or is this gonna require, can the board approve this
I
for the
don't think the
community?
bylaws address anything like
yeah,
this.
I was
because
thinking about
It's
that,
not
and,
something that's been an issue.
Well, if you know, if we're talking right away,
Mhm.
you'll be going across people's property. I think the membership has to know about
I
it.
think we should tell them, I
Yeah.
don't know, but again, I don't know,
Whether they have to approve it.
yeah, I don't know if they have to approve it,
I don't know.
They're not going across anybody's property.
Well,
Well, right.
Until that's,
yeah,
Well, it's in the right of way.
Yeah.
well, I know.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
they're not
saying,
gonna go-
well, I'm
Yeah, but
saying,
you're gonna-
okay, technically
they're gonna be
speaking,
there
they're
drilling
right
away,
away.
you're gonna get
Right.
complaints.
and
If
so,
they don't know.
but there are people.
Well, we gotta
parking
tell
there.
them.
Oh, I
Tell
understand.
them,
People
yeah.
have
Just
to
like you're
know
telling
about
the
it.
Oh,
road.
absolutely.
Yeah, you
Even though they
know,
don't have a right to say
Mike's
you
got
can't do
a
it.
point. We don't ask them if we
Tell
can
them,
pave
yeah.
the roads, we tell them we're paving the
It's the
roads.
right of way.
So maybe we just tell them we're gonna be doing this
I mean, it's
project.
been
Yeah.
several years, but Comcast put those cables up on poles.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the membership back then. It's been decades, okay,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah, no,
we did
I
do it.
think, yeah, but because they're gonna be, drilling in front of people, people get nervous.
Yeah.
It's not invasive to the individual.
No,
No,
lot-
individual
lot-
I
so-
mean, some of these
Property
people
owner.
that have these parking pads, I don't know if that will.
well, they
They
drill
can go
under,
under.
they
They can
drill
go under,
under.
yeah,
yeah,
they can go under,
It should be no
Yeah.
problem. But anyway, yeah, we notify the
Yeah.
membership.
Really, a simple question, do we need, even in the board meeting, do we need a quorum and a motion to pursue this?
mean to do?
Well, eventually, like once, if I send the contract
Yeah,
over and so on,
yeah, I think,
so
yeah,
like in the next meeting,
Next meeting.
then there should be a motion, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
Yeah,
but I think, you know, but
You
let's,
have to have a motion, what is, to give them access, is that what we're?
Yeah.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
think so.
yeah.
Better make sure we get that worded correctly.
Mhm.
yeah, right, yeah,
Well, our motion is to approve that,
Right,
that kind of.
that contract or that contract.
Which
or
gives them
whatever.
the access to the right of way.
so everybody read that contract and then let me know if you see anything.
Nothing struck me in the head other than I want a lawyer to read it.
I know you said that,
Yeah,
yeah, you were right.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
I was
All
glad
right,
you wrote that
That takes care of me. Office,
office.
quickly.
Why, Tony?
Grows late.
I know, sorry. I don't really have very much.
Good.
Office repairs are going well. CMB Electric, as you know, has done all of the electric, other than the roof. He's pulled the permit, it's in review at the county. It can take a few weeks. Once he has that, he'll work with SMECO and so on. But all the inside repairs are complete. Encompass Enterprises is doing the siding, and he was actually, they were here today. And if you want to take a walk before it gets too dark, you can see where they've replaced it. Did a really good job on the color match. Wow. There's some panels back on that corner, and they're dirty, and they don't match anything, but those are not the new panels, so don't think that that's an issue. They're gonna come back tomorrow to finish up. Southern Maryland Glass, that guy was here today. That's $360. He just came here to measure the window today. And then he'll be back this week to replace it. Still haven't gotten a final date or a date when Mo Langford will come and do the sediment control trap. He's the plumber. Joe Bateman, as you know, has done all the trimming and minor repairs that were on his list. I've sent photos to Patricia Marple, the State Farm agent. So I've sent her a couple of batches of photos.
Any reaction from them
No. I had a letter a week and a half ago from State Farm saying, we can't cover you because you haven't done these repairs. So I called Patricia, and she picked up right away and said, it's all in transit, they understand. She said they have the pictures, that's like, kind of like crossing in the mail kind of thing, so we're fine. She just might have to rewrite the whole policy when it comes, once we're finished. They might require the policy to start again, I don't know. Also, I had on my list, or a message from Solomon's, well, I was gonna do it down here, but I'll do it up here. Volunteer fire department, they came to test the dry hydrant on Lake Vista. And all they could do was suck up mud, it's leaking air, not the hydrant, but like the hose is leaking air. He said it's like a pivot joint that needs to be replaced. So he couldn't tell me who I might call, and it's been 15 years or so since those hydrants were installed. We have 3. We had one repaired on Laurel Way a couple years ago, but it was a simple something that, I don't know, Grovers, or I think John Wood might have done it, I don't remember. But this is a little different, so the only contact name I had, still in my list of contacts, is a man by the name of John Flood. And I called him, he called me right back, he is a retired stormwater management consultant. So he is going to see if he can get the names of some people, contractors, who would be able to do this. He said, I can't guarantee it, I've been retired for a few years. He said, if not, he'll see if he can put me in touch with some marinas that he knows have installed dry hydrants recently. So they might be able to have a contractor in for me.
But you don't think Wood or Grover can do this?
They might be able to, it just sounded different and more complicated, and I just got it today, and I'm like,
Okay.
a pivot joint, I don't know. I can talk to Grover and John Wood as well, and, I will. They might be able to look at it and say, oh yeah, it's this or it's that. I don't know, I've never, they've been there for a while, so. But also Solomon's Volunteer Fire Department, we got the donation envelope. Can I go ahead and do the donation for the year? I don't know if I need a motion on
Yeah, I
that.
think we do. I think every year we've had a motion and a vote on
So
that.
they wanna make a
What's
motion?
the amount?
400 is what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And it's already in the budget, it was worked into the
Mhm.
hospitality.
Is there a motion?
I move we
Second.
do the same thing.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
alright.
Done.
Alright, and also the light at the entrance, that's all finished. The photocell and the light itself have been replaced, so that's it for office update.
Why's the flag have mast? What did I miss?
Well, now I'm not sure.
Good.
I had a notification from the Maryland governor, and I thought it said US flags to half staff for volunteer fireman who was killed in the line of duty.
Oh, okay.
But Mike came in and asked me the same question. He said that governors are not allowed to make that order for the US flag.
Only for the military,
Only for,
correct.
oh, so they can for military?
Yes, they can do it for
Okay.
military folks in the line of duty.
And that message I had, it may well have said state flags, and I just had a lot going on, and I said, oh, flag, put it down, put it, Mike, or John, call.
Oh,
So,
it went back up.
It's
right?
going back up to, no, it's going back up tomorrow at
Oh.
dusk, so can I just leave it? I didn't know. So that's,
Nobody's gonna sue you, don't worry.
not to figure.
All right, operations, roads.
Roads,
Well, what about the tree?
Oh,
oh, the tree, Carl, thank you, I put in a request for a location on the septic. You have to do it online now. I called, oh no, you have to go online and put in a request, so I did that last week because Carl wants that done before he brings his equipment onto the yard. So that's in progress too. Hopefully it's,
So he'll cut it, maybe talk to Larry
I
about,
haven't talked to Larry yet, I have not.
what Rich said,
Yeah,
he'd
run it
mind
for
it
100.
50 to 100 bucks, so.
I'll get in touch with him tomorrow.
cut a couple trees down.
I know, right, yeah. So there's that. I put out the request for proposals for snow removal, and I put it out to Grover's Landscape, of course, John Wood, and another company called Rupert Landscaping. Grover's gave us a proposal, same as it always is, except salt is now $10 more a ton. John Wood did not want to submit a proposal because he's got a proposal on it that county that he's hoping to get. It's a 4-year contract. And he said, if I get that, I won't have time for you guys. So I thought the honesty was, I appreciated that. And then Rupert Landscaping, she called me and said that she would have given us the proposal, but they only do a proposal if they also have a landscaping contract. They do harbors, landscaping, and snow removal, but they have to have a landscaping contract in place. So that was that. But I had John Wood send me an email stating just that he did not want to do a proposal because of ABC. And the same with Rupert, she was nice enough to send me the same kind of email. So that when I am ready, I'll send that to the county. So I've done my due diligence and so on. We got the same guy. The only other thing I have is Asha had mentioned on Bay Drive Causeway that it looked as though it was having some cracks and stuff. Well, Steve looked at it. Steve looked at it and he stopped by today and he sent me the pictures and I can send them to you guys.
Okay.
I didn't print them, but there's cracking, kind of mid,
I saw one
it's
crack
here and
across the
there,
road.
well, all the way up like to Bayview.
Mm.
And we're trying to figure out exactly when it was paved last, if you happen to remember. He had to rush and that guy was coming in, so we really didn't have time to look at it, but
So
he's
maybe
on
we're
that.
due anyhow.
Yeah, and he also talked with, if anybody was at the membership meeting, Skip Hoskins.
Oh,
Stood
yes,
up and
yes,
said,
yes.
who's in charge of the roads?
Yes.
What? Anyway, I stood right there after the meeting and I texted Steve, I said, please call Skip, and he did. So we met there with Skip, and we do need to have the pipe flushed and some surge stone put in, and so on. He's gonna add it to the stormwater management work. I don't know if it can be done this year or not, budget. And so we might go over budget for Steve in particular, because he is, we killed his budget. So anyway, that's it. That's it.
Jack, finance.
Well, we had the finance committee meeting recently and developing a new budget. It's should be ready in a few more days. Certainly be ready in time for our general membership meeting approval in June. Nothing really exciting happening.
I know, I was at the meeting.
Just
Bonnie,
I have nothing.
oh, our environment is good. John is not here. Welcoming committee,
No
man?
report.
Nothing. Mike, how are we planning?
The plan, do we get any photos of the grass sent in?
I haven't had a chance.
Okay.
It's on my list. I just,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, there's more stress.
I
March
suggested
grass.
that
It's a good idea.
we take pictures of that and send it to the gal at MDE and say, hey, can we pull down this miserable fence?
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, either we have to pull it down or we have to fix it, one or the
Well,
other.
Joe did fix it, I think.
Oh, he did?
Well, yeah,
I was
because,
just there yesterday.
well, then it's down again. Seriously?
Oh, we had a storm.
I
He
think it
fixed
was
it last week.
yesterday,
He
yeah.
fixed it like right after the meeting, when
No,
everybody
I-
said, no, they gotta stay up,
I was
Like
down
in the
there, yeah,
week or
yesterday.
two.
I walked down there yesterday and the same pieces that were down before are down again, and an additional piece.
And we had the storm last night, so it wouldn't have
Oh,
gotten
so
any
there's,
better.
yeah, there's, it hasn't gotten
Yeah.
better.
Hey, this is Al, and,
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Tony, whatever was done, it didn't appear to be done, or it's come down.
Okay,
That's
so
it,
that's,
yeah, so,
okay.
well, we gotta figure out what we wanna do there. All right, unfinished business, not that I know of.
I don't think so.
New business, we had the long meeting, so all we have to do is schedule the next meeting.
May sixth.
Yes, it looks like May sixth is the day.
That's good for me.
Is that good? Okay. Well, and then wait a minute, May sixth is that, and then when's the cleanup day?
The tenth,
The 10th.
yeah.
All right, anything else? Does anybody want to bring up anything? Alan, you too, you're there on the phone.
No, I actually been listening attentively. I'm good. I would like to, Rhea, if you wouldn't mind, just, I assume that gentleman Marty left some documents.
He did, well,
Bundled
yes.
together, up top, or some
Well,
sort of,
I've already emailed the ones that he brought with him.
It was, yeah, it was.
Okay.
It's the same ones that I sent by email.
you know, it's interesting, I like to look at it,
Mhm.
thank you guys, and I'm good, thanks, Tony.
All right, that's it then, folks, thank you very much.